Hi, friends. Welcome to the Do Life podcast, where we talk about life, its challenges, and some common ways to tackle those issues with scientific based research and a little bit of metaphysical properties. Today, we are going to be talking about the perfect morning routine. And I get it's not a perfect world. Some of us have jobs and children and spouses and responsibilities and other things that we have to do. But if you could just take one of the things that we talk about today and implement them, then it's a win. And even if you can't, if you share this information with someone who might be able to implement them, then it's a win. We're all about changing lives here, people. So let's get started. Like I said, in a perfect world, we would all be able to implement these changes and live happily ever after. I understand that that's not realistic. I want to tell you all of the information, and what you can implement, please do. And what you can't, that's okay. Leave it for someone else. Having the perfect morning routine will start with getting the perfect night's sleep. We are not going to get into that today. Sleep is a whole nother topic, and we will have an episode on that later. So we're not going to deep dive into that much today at all, but do know that sleep is super important, and how you start your morning absolutely depends on how well you slept at night. With that being said, I'm going to skip over some of the basics. The first thing you do when you wake up is you use the bathroom. Obviously. Well, maybe it's not obvious. Maybe I shouldn't just say obviously you go to the bathroom, because some people might not. They might just jump up late for work and get dressed and run and do an hour's worth of work before they realize that they never went to the bathroom. And that's so bad for your kidney and your bladder and your everything. Yes, the first thing you do when you wake up should be go potty, for obvious reasons that may not be obvious, apparently. Second thing you do is drink water. We dehydrate so much throughout the night, and you lose a surprising amount of water every night through your skin and your breath while you're sleeping. So when you wake up super dehydrated, it's real. It's a legitimate thing. There's a lot of arguments on how much water you should drink. So I'm not even going to touch that. I'm not going to be like, you need 32 ounces. You need an ounce for every pound you weigh. You can do your own research on how much water you think you should be drinking, because there's too many debates and too many issues that I'm not going to get into. We're not doing that today. Either way, you wake up, you potty, you drink your water, and then what? And this is where it gets debatable. When I say our podcast has a touch of metaphysical properties, we're going to get into that right now. When you're half asleep, half awake, your brain is kind of in that like theta, beta stage. It's not really functioning on all cylinders. It's not ready to tackle on the day. Some people say that they need to have their coffee before you can even have a conversation with them. And we'll get into that in a minute, why that's not great, but don't leave just yet. So when your brain is still kind of in that groggy state, the best thing for you to do is meditate. And I know if I meditate, I fall asleep. I don't know how to meditate. I can't do this. I've already recorded a whole nother episode on meditation with a separate meditation that you can download and everything. And I'll be posting that sometime in the next few weeks. We're not going to get into that either today, but there's so many benefits of meditation. If you talk to anybody who's successful or rich or famous or, just happy people, they'll tell you that they meditate first thing in the morning or at night before they go to bed, or both, or anytime throughout the day. Because when you meditate first thing in the morning, you tell your mind what kind of day you're going to have. I'm a trained facilitator in the 6-phase meditation. It's one of my favorites because it starts out with compassion, and then it moves to gratitude, and then we talk about forgiveness, and then we vision plan. You vision stack your day. You plan what your day is going to look like, and I prefer that because it goes through step by step. Like at the end of it, you have those expectations. If something goes wrong, you're able to just kind of let it slide a little bit more. I find you're not reacting to so much as you are just responding as things happen. It's such a fine line between reacting and responding, and that's something that not a lot of people understand. So when you meditate, you set your brain up for the kind of day you're going to be having. You're going to be in a more relaxed state. You're going to be in a more responsive state. And there's a million different neurological benefits that I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce or remember right now. So again, you can do your own research on some of these things. I'm just telling you what I've learned from all the research that I've done. And meditation first thing in the morning when your brain is still in that kind of groggy state is the best time to meditate and set your day up properly. And then the next thing that you do when you're done meditating is also debatable. And in a big world with a lot of people and their opinions, exercise or movement, any kind of helpfulness for your body. anything that you can do to move your body is going to benefit you in some sort of way. We start out the morning with taking care of our brain, and then the next thing we do you mind? Rude. The next thing we do is we move our bodies. And it doesn't matter if you do yoga or if you do a high intensity workout, if you want to go for a walk, which is actually what I would recommend, because the next thing after you move your body is natural sunlight. Within the first hour of being awake, at some point you need to be outside. You need to get natural sunlight in your eyes, not through a window, not through like a car. I guess that's still a window, not fluorescent lights in an office space, actual natural sunlight in your eyeballs for the first hour so that you're awake. And the reason behind that is it actually helps your cortisol levels. It helps your circadian rhythm. So your circadian rhythm is the natural state where you sleep, you get tired, your body winds down, and it starts to go into a sleep mode, your cycle. It just helps you regulate every day, helps regulate a lot of things on a daily basis, your hormones, your metabolic rate, all of the things. So you want to get your natural circadian rhythm to a system. And that's why having consistent wake up times and bedtimes are so important. It also helps regulate cortisol levels, which is, stress hormones and all of those fun things, which is why you don't want to have coffee before 90 minutes of being awake, because that will also screw up your cortisol levels and your stress hormones and adrenaline and all of the things. Let's recap so far. You wake up, you go potty, you drink water, you meditate, you move your body, you get sunlight in your eyes. Gotcha. Now we're maybe awake for an hour or so at this point. We've gone outside, we've gone for a walk, we got natural sunlight in our eyes. And then what? Then we go hygiene for the day. So my morning routine, the first 2 hours are my time. And no matter if I have an appointment planned or I have something scheduled, if I have somewhere to be, I wake up the same time every day and I make sure that the first 2 hours I'm awake are for me. Because I understand a lot of us as parents, for many years, I woke up stressed out, had to get the kids up, had to get them ready. They're stressed out. Hubs is stressed out. He's going to work, coming home from work, whatever shift he was on. It was chaos. And now that I have that freedom, the kids are grown and gone. I don't have that stress. I don't have anybody to wake up to anymore in the morning. And it's peaceful and it's heavenly. And I can be me for me before I start showing up for everybody else. So when I do my meditation and my movements and I wake up every morning, I'm waking up for me and I show up for me before I dedicate my time to other people. So even if you do have small children or a husband or a spouse, if you can wake up 20 minutes before everybody else and just have that moment of breathe, just breathe and be you. Even if you don't do a full meditation, if you can just sit there in peace and maybe visualize your day going by in a harmonious manner, the kids are all going to wake up on time and get dressed and be happy, and maybe your day ends up being amazing. And if you could do that every day, that would also be amazing. So even if you can't dedicate a full 2 hours every morning before you dedicate your time to other people, whatever you can is so important for your mindset, for your mental health for the rest of the day. So if it's just a 10-minute standing in the kitchen drinking your water before you get everybody up, do that. And also, I forgot to talk about the snooze button. Let's get into that real quick for a minute. Do you know how detrimental it is to your body and your brain and your sleep and your cycle and your everything when you hit that snooze button? When I stayed with my daughter in Seattle last year, I crashed in her room and she had an alarm set every 5 minutes for like 2 hours and was still late for work. And I'm just like, what the hell is wrong with you? Don't do that. First of all, when you wake up, the first time you wake up, notice it, pay attention to it now that it's been pinpointed in your brain, that seed's planted. When you wake up, you're awake. Now, sometimes you're not always, but most of the time, like when you wake up, that first time you wake up, you're awake. The second you make a decision to go back to sleep, you restart your sleep cycle. Your body wants to go to sleep for 90 minutes at least. So, every time you close your eyes to take a nap or sleep, your body wants to be in a 90-minute sleep cycle. And when you do that for 5 minutes, the next time you wake up, you don't know your name, you don't know what planet you're on. Don't hit the snooze button. That is the worst thing that you could ever do. Don't hit the snooze button. Because first of all, Your life is a series of decisions. If the first decision you make that day is to delay the day, what kind of day are you going to have? How much are you going to be ready to tackle? They say make your bed because then you've accomplished something first thing in the morning. Yeah, but if you hit the snooze button 57 times, you didn't accomplish anything. Anyway, so the snooze button is illegal as far as I'm concerned. We don't touch that. We don't do that. You wake up when you're supposed to wake up and you'd be awake, even if you don't want to. I stayed up late last night. I had a couple things to drink, and I don't really do that often. But you can tell I'm all swollen and puffy because I drank last night, which is why I don't, because I'm too vain to be this puffy and on camera. But whatever, I'll probably edit that out. Anyway, so I stayed up too late. I didn't drink as much. I have this bracelet. It's called a Whoop bracelet and a Whoop watch. It doesn't actually tell me the time, but it tells me about how my body is affected with my sleep, with my cycle, with booze, with everything. And it has definitely turned me off against drinking as much as I used to, because I see firsthand how it affects my body and my sleep and my system and my cycles. And it's just insane. So with that being said, I still had a couple drinks last night. We were in the neighbor's pool, and then we were in the hot tub. It was a full moon, partial lunar eclipse, super moon. It was amazing. I'm outside anytime there's any kind of astrological events at all, which is always. But anyway, I stayed up later than I needed to, and I didn't sleep as well as I should have. And my body woke up at 7, and I normally wake up like 6:37. And I wanted nothing more than to turn over and go back to sleep. But I laid there and I was like, I'm awake. I'm awake right now. If I go back to sleep, it'll be hours before I'm awake again. So I made the decision to get up and do all the things. And that was the first decision I made for myself today, was to show up for me. And so that's why the snooze button is illegal. Anyway, where I was prior to the snooze button rant I just went on was after you're done with your morning time, your workout, your everything, then we go to hygiene. You shower, you brush your teeth, you do your affirmations if that's the thing you do. I mean, you look in the mirror and say happy things. I love this quote from Marissa Peer: if you're going to lie to yourself, tell yourself a better lie. People are looking in the mirror every morning. They're like, oh, I'm ugly, I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that. You're lying. Those are all lies. None of that is legally proven. So instead of saying those negative things when you're standing there brushing your teeth, how about you tell yourself a better lie? How about my jawline is fantastic, or I really like my eyebrows, or I have a great personality, or whatever lies you want to tell yourself, make them better lies. Do good lies. Don't tell yourself trash lies. Don't be down and dirty and negative. If you're going to stand in the mirror and you're going to look at yourself, don't talk down to yourself. Lie better. And then afterwards, you break your fast. And that doesn't mean that you break your fast at 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. I don't care when you eat, but know that the first thing you eat is breaking your fast. That's your breakfast, regardless of what time of day it is. And it is the most important meal of the day, not eating in the morning, but the breaking your fast. What you reintroduce into your body has so much to do with your levels of energy and your metabolism and your overall body in general. So your breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And if you intermittent fast, that's great. If you don't, that's great. I'm not here to judge. There's so much debate about what's good and what's not good when it comes to your food and all of those things. So I don't want to get stuck in those arguments. We're just here to talk about having a good day. All right, so let's recap again. You wake up, you bathroom, you water, you meditate, you move, you sunlight, you hygiene, you eat. And then after you're done with all that, your brain is in a more awake state. It's in a more alert and heightened state. This is when it's really important for you to do your deep work. If you have things to figure out or calculate or problem solving or anything important that takes a lot of strenuous brain activity, you want to do them now after you're done with your whole morning, everything. Because now that your brain's awake and alert, you've got the sunlight in your eyes, it's ready to tackle on the day. This is not the time to sit and doom scroll and procrastinate and be lazy and depressed. No, this is when we get shit done. This is when you go and you are doing all the things. And then you're usually in a good place to deep work for about 2 to 3 hours. And then you give yourself a break. Take a break, do something completely different. And then you can do another deep work session. When it gets closer to your evening time, You have the creative space. That's when, you want creative ideas to flow to you. If you need creative problem solving, you do that in the earlier stages of the evening. This isn't a very long video. I don't want to bore you. Again, I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of things to do super early in the morning. So to recap, the first thing you do when you wake up is you go to the bathroom. The second thing you do is you drink a bunch of water. Third thing you do is meditate, plan your day, visualize your day, something along those lines. Fourth thing you do is move your body in any kind of way, yoga, exercise, just going for a walk, move your body. Fifth thing you do is get natural sunlight in your eyes, not through a window, not through a door. You can't get sunlight through a door. Why would I say that? Through fluorescent lights, actual natural sunlight from the big thing in the sky outside. And then you hygiene. You wash your body, wash your face, wash your teeth, wash all the things. You do your affirmations, you look in the mirror, you tell yourself a better lie, you do all the good things. Then you break your fast, you do your deep work, and you do your creative work, and you wind down and you make sure you have a good night's sleep. We'll do sleep on another episode. We'll do a deep dive into meditation on another episode. I'm excited to share those with you. But again, if you want to leave a comment, let me know some things that maybe you struggle with in the morning, or if you have ideas or helpful tips, please leave them in the comments. Like, share, follow, go to my webpage if you want to go deeper. It's LaylaDawnDoesLife.com, and I would love to hear from you. Subscribe to my newsletter. I love you guys. Have a great day.